Yeah, get it knocked out, because then when you get busy, then
Mhm.
all of a sudden it's like,
It'll
oh, you
sneak
got
up on
3
you.
weeks.
Right. Yeah, so
It will sneak up on
that
that.
is what my next goal
I'm at
is.
29 hours.
You're on
right now.
29.
This
Almost
last
there.
hours, 5 hours.
It feels like it, right? That's how
Mhm.
some of the chapters felt. Like when we were studying for the actual license, I was like, good Lord, I would do myself a disservice by seeing how many pages was in, or how, on. I'm like, oh God, this is.
The good thing is, it's still kind of fresh in
Still-
your mind.
Yeah, because I just took my test in December.
Mhm. Oh, well, you're in good shape.
Hopefully.
I took it in May.
You can block it, it's okay. I'll put my glasses on, so I won't be that far.
What, so you can see the back of my head?
I won't be able to see that far anyway. I might learn. By your ear.
I did.
I know.
Very distracted, everybody.
And probably, we don't have anybody on Zoom yet, but. Well. Never mind.
Hold on, I'm sure I'm gonna get it fixed.
Something missing?
No microphone. I thought we had ordered one for up here and one for down there. I guess they took it down there and didn't put it back. It's all right, I'm loud. And it's 1 o'clock. Let's do this thing. All right, so, we are going over the exclusive right to sell. Gonna do the resident. Get that over here. I'm gonna do the residential version, because the vacant land is very similar. There's just a couple things that are different, that pertain specifically to vacant land. So, I always mention this, not to be repetitive, but the more I say it, the more you retain it. The seller is the actual person or entity that holds the deed to the property. So this could be an individual, it could be an entity like an LLC or a corporation, it could be a trust as well. It could be an estate. So whoever holds that deed to the property is who the seller is. So I use, my husband is a contractor, so I always use him as an example. So if I were listing one of his houses, the seller would be SM Ward Construction, Inc. Because he holds, the company holds the deed to the property. Firm is Keller Williams Central. If you are an LLC, then you would need to identify both of those. If you're an LLC registered with the Real Estate Commission, then you would need to put both of those. So in this example, I would put, as the firm, I would put Ward Real Estate Group at Keller Williams. So I've got my firm that I'm affiliated with the Real Estate Commission, and Keller Williams that I'm affiliated.
So when our firm license is issued, that's the way we would do it as well.
Yes, yes. And different people do it different ways.
I learned something, y'all. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
First line, I learned something. I mean, right?
Got your one in for the day.
I mean, y'all.
Different people do it different ways, like Melissa White, like she puts, the Melissa White Team powered by Keller Williams. I can't remember how Cindy does hers, Dudley Realty Group. So anyway, both of them have to be in there. Term of the agreement. I was gonna say, she heard me. How do you do, like, I'm Ward Real Estate Group at Keller Williams. How do you do Dudley Realty?
So I do KW Central and then I backslash W Realty Group on all my paperwork.
Okay,
But the problem is that they have to understand, you want to put KW Central because that's how I get paid. Because if you put W Realty Group first, they're gonna pay me. I don't need to get paid. It needs to go through because I'm a W-2 employee. So it has to go through
Yes,
KW Central, they pay Dudley Realty Group.
yes,
But I have an employee too, so that makes a difference. So that through payroll, that's why, but you can do it
Yes.
for tax purposes only.
Yes.
not get paid.
yes,
So
Yes.
that's the way I do it.
yes.
And I put the numbers too.
Yes, yes, we'll,
Oh, sorry.
no, you can stay.
If you can do it, it's a great way to do it. I didn't pay a lot of taxes last year
Yeah.
because of not being self-employed.
It definitely is, yes, so what it does, so you can't be a provisional broker. So all the more reason to
Right.
get that notch out of the way. And then, you file articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State. You get a tax ID number and then you send that to the Real Estate Commission, with your application for your firm. And then once you have a firm license, articles of incorporation, you give that paperwork to Josh. Josh can pay you through your LLC, which means you don't pay self-employment tax, which is nice because it's a lower tax rate. Particularly like Cindy was saying, because all the money comes into the company and then you pay yourself payroll out of that company, and then you're paying your taxes in as well through that. So
Do you have to be, a broker for a certain amount of time before you get the LLC?
you have to have a certain number of hours. But I mean, you're not gonna have a problem with that. Yeah. Yes. And you do not have to designate yourself as the broker in charge as well. Yes.
Okay.
So, when you get to that point, feel free, we can sit down, and have a conversation about how do we actually do this and that sort of thing, helping Mike and Carrie through theirs right now.
What's interesting, we've had our LLC set up since the end of 2024.
Mhm.
And we applied last year, beginning of 2025, for our firm license with the state, and we still working through to get that firm license. They hadn't approved this yet for whatever reason. Matter of fact, we were
I
just
think we
looking at
fixed
it
it
yesterday.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I want to go back in there today to see if it's been approved, but
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, just little things and we had to call Carrie. Turn it off. But anyway,
Term of the agreement, this must be a definitive and can she,
Yeah, she had to find the link.
can
Oh,
she
okay,
hear-
okay.
Can she hear us? Because she don't have a.
I don't have the mic on, but I think I'm probably still loud enough that, that she can hear. Okay, term of the agreement, this must be a definitive and reasonable date for the time in which to get the property sold, and it cannot auto renew. So, you would not put, December 31, 2030. That's not a reasonable amount of time in which to get the property sold.
And I think I've asked this question before. A lot of people are doing what, 60, 90 days? 90, depends on the type of
It
property.
depends on the type of property, but we are seeing the average days on market a little longer.
Okay.
And so I would recommend a 6-month listing agreement.
Oh, wow.
Minimum, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's vacant land,
Mhm.
a year.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 10%
Okay.
Yes,
On vacant land.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
in commercial.
yes.
Okay.
Number 3, property. All of this information can be found on the tax card. So when you're pulling the tax card on the listing, all of this information is going to be there. There may not be a lot or a unit. There may not be a block or a section, and there may not be a subdivision or a condominium. There may also not be a plat book and slide depending on the age of the property. However, even like Town and Country that was developed back in like the 40s or, whatever, there's still plats that are there for it. And when you pull your tax card, there's typically a link on there that you could click on and it'll pull that plat right up.
If that's not on the tax card section,
Mhm.
look in the deed. Sometimes it'll show you in that deed, or it could be in a previous deed.
Okay.
where
Yes.
it's got a plat book and page. Some of those, they're showing like 30 foot wide by 90 foot deep lots, and now they've combined 3 of them to be 90 by 90.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Just give as
it's
much
some-
information
Yeah.
as
some
you can.
crazy stuff, yeah.
yes, yeah. Other description, that would be the description you're gonna see on the tax card that typically is gonna say something like LT for
Brookwood,
Brookwood,
SB,
Brookwood SD, something like that. That's the legal description. The more information you can put in this section is, number one, we want to make sure we're properly identifying the property. But that same information is going to go on the offer to purchase, and it makes it easier for the attorney to be able to identify exactly the
You
property.
put the legal description.
And other, yeah. And then deed book and page. People tell me there's not a deed for this property. Well, if there's not a deed for this property, then we certainly, I'm sorry, Tammy, we certainly cannot sell it. Because if there's not a deed, we don't know that this person is able to transfer it. There's always a deed. With subdivisions, even the deed to the entire subdivision. It may have been subdivided since then, and it may not be one specifically for that lot, but they bought the entire parcel at one point in time. And so there's always a deed.
and it should be platted by the time they put it on the market. It has to be platted.
Mhm. It has to be platted. Yeah.
So they should be able to at least give you a copy of a plat map that shows you the lot number within that 40 acres
Yeah.
or whatever.
And it will be recorded as
Correct.
well. So that's where that you would be able to pull that up. Okay, fixtures. Unless excluded, everything in this section conveys with the property. When you're sitting down and going through this paperwork with your seller, you want to just make sure that they go through this list and they understand that all of this stuff remains unless otherwise indicated.
I'm looking down there at the electric vehicle chargers. If I'm taking my Tesla, I want my charger.
Yes, exactly. We just had, I just reviewed a file that was an exempt. In other words, it did not remain
Right.
with the property. We see it a lot with Ring doorbells and,
Security system,
yeah, things like that. And
sometimes a generator.
Yeah.
I
You want my
thought that-
generator?
Those are kind of tough though. If it's hooked up to the house, it's really tough to, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna leave,
I would
stuff
think
there,
that would
but-
stay.
Yeah.
yeah,
and
Yes.
I don't know that I've ever had one where they kept the generator, but I've heard of it.
Mm,
So you just never know.
yeah. So all of this, everything on here, landscape and outdoor trees and plants, except in movable containers. If there is, and we see this sometimes as well, maybe there's a sentimental gardenia bush in the flower bed that was, grandma's or whatever. And that, I mean, it can be exempted. Just make sure you spell it out. Because you don't dig it up until you're ready to dig it up and put it in the next hole that it's going into.
But things like, the plate that goes over the electric switch, some people do crafts and
Mhm.
stuff and they make these fancy things, that would stay though. wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Or if you
So-
replaced it with something like the original.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
still has
That's
the
what I would
original. You can,
suggest.
yeah, I
They've
would,
got one of those that they want to keep. Take it down now, replace it with a plain one. There's no question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, same thing. I always like reference grandma's chandelier, because same thing. As soon as you tell a buyer they can't have that chandelier, oh, they want that chandelier.
Mhm.
So I always recommend, if it's not going to remain,
Take
go
it down.
ahead and take it down and replace it with something of like kind value for the property.
Right.
If it's a $500,000 property, don't go to Lowe's and buy that $80, And also mirrors attached to walls, ceilings. It's a little creepy to me, but,
Old
and-
school, right?
yeah, old school. And-
Magnetic, or the sticky ones.
Yeah, and all bathroom wall mirrors, so whether they're decorative or not, they remain. So just make sure you're covering this with your seller so that you don't get to the day of closing and the buyer comes to do their walkthrough and they're like, hey, where's that generator? Yeah.
I'd be mad if generator.
Duty to unpair and delete data. This is just a reminder. There's also a seller checklist that is on as well to unpair any devices, return them to factory defaults, those sorts of things. I give the example on this one is, so your garage door, you hit that button in your car. You don't have the actual garage door opener in there. You've programmed it and you just hit that button in your car. Okay, so we forget to delete that. And I only moved right down the street. So I'm driving down the road and I hit my garage door opener. And my old house garage door open, not my new one. And oh, by the way, now their garage door is standing wide open and somebody comes in and steals all of the stuff. So seller's duty survives closing. So the seller would be liable for that should that happen. So we also saw some video of a less than clothed individual that none of us, so unpair, just make sure you remind them to unpair. Items that are leased or not owned, this would be satellite dishes, appliances, a big thing, solar panels, electric car chargers, alarm systems. Anything that will not convey. We do not talk about propane tanks here because it's covered in its own section. So this would just be appliances. Oh yeah, we just bought this new range. Okay, do you own it? Or did you go to a rent-a-center and, just asking those additional questions when you see that. Oh yeah, all new appliances. Are they all paid for? Kind of thing.
Take the satellite dish also.
So typically, the satellite dishes don't remain, but the satellite company doesn't want them back. So typically, they're just used.
Yeah, I know, I've seen a lot of just kind of left there.
Yeah, yes.
I think my biggest headache has been like the fuel tanks. Is that, I mean, the seller knows they don't own it, but then they have to call the company puts a lock on it, and like, there's a charge for like all of these, like, so explaining to them and give them like a heads up when if they have any type of like tank.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And we'll talk a little bit more, cover that a little bit more when we get to propane tanks. Solar panels, we need to know who owns the solar panels. Has the seller paid for them, or is there still a lease on them? And is the seller going to pay them off at closing? Is the buyer going to assume the lease on the solar panels? And a couple of things with that make a difference, because if the seller expects the buyer to take over the lease, the buyer has to qualify for that payment with the solar panel company. So first of all, my first thing would be, if you're listing a house that has solar panels, don't. Run.
Problem.
Yeah, yes.
I was just thinking, boy, I got a lot of things in my mind. Okay, I'm not gonna be a dual agent. I don't want.
Don't want
satellite.
Solar panel.
Propane tanks, no.
With regard to the solar panel. If the seller's gonna, or the buyer's gonna assume the lease, even though they qualify with the solar company, would that not be part of qualifying with the lender as well? I mean, I guess it could be,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And the lender may say, wait a minute, the house has solar panels, who's
Right.
responsible?
Right.
And if so, are you responsible? And now you don't qualify.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I
Definitely want to
we've
be,
not ran into that. I haven't heard of that anyway, but you just never know about things like that.
yes, typically we would want the seller to pay those off at closing. Unfortunately, sometimes the funds aren't there to be able to do it. Again, the run. Any other excluded items, this would be, the gardenia bush in the back flower beds, anything that was on that previous fixture list, your Tesla charger, you know, those sorts of things you would put there. And then personal property, any personal property that is transferred to the buyer at no value. Typically, this is gonna be your refrigerator, your washer, and your dryer that will convey, if those things do convey. If not, then there's no personal property because dishwasher's built in, unless there's a countertop microwave, something like that. But the range always, conveys. And then, you know, anything else, like if the seller has one of those, like pergola things that on the, you know, on the back patio or something, and they're gonna leave it, then you would put that on there as well.
And not to get completely on this, but, okay, so say they do put like the kitchen appliances on here. Do I have to put that in the MLS? Cause I like to kind of keep it for negotiate, you know, if they're gonna let the refrigerator go and I have it in here, then I don't list it in there to help with the negotiation.
Yeah. So if they put it, then yes, you do. So that's where you're having a conversation that's like, oh, well, we're gonna leave the washer and dryer and refrigerator. Well, let's hold off on that and let that be a negotiating piece, because the buyer's gonna wanna feel like that they won and you were gonna leave them anyway.
Right.
So let's make them feel, it'll be a feel good.
That's good.
Listing price, it's required. It can't be TBD. You have to have the listing price in there. And then the terms that are acceptable to the seller from a buyer. So we love cash. Everybody loves cash. Conventional, and then also FHA, VA, USDA. Do not check those boxes and do not put that into the MLS if the property doesn't qualify for those things. So USDA has to be in a USDA area. You can go to usda.gov and you just type just like you do your flood map, type your address in, it'll tell you if it's in an eligible area or not. FHA, VA, USDA, all government-backed loans. If there's any broken windows, peeling paint, anything that looks like it's could be a safety issue and the seller's not willing to fix it, it's not gonna go FHA or VA or USDA.
So another example would be like a porch that's more than 3 feet off the ground and they don't want to put up a railing. That will not go FHA.
Right.
Oh, really?
Even though it's a code thing,
Right.
and when the house was built, it wasn't required by
Right.
code, but that, yeah, porches with railings are a big thing. And like wobbly railings
Yeah,
too.
steps,
Yeah.
the same, it's kind of the same thing.
Yes,
But again, they're not, if it's an older home, it wasn't required.
right,
Now, is it gonna come up on inspection? Probably.
Yeah. yes.
Problem.
Loan assumption and seller financing, either one of those two things, the seller needs to consult an attorney for that, because we don't have forms that adequately cover the terms of what that may be. The other thing is you have to make sure, is the loan assumable? Marketing. So, oh God, I know.
I know, right?
Marketing date. So these are some of the things that I see where files get turned back get rejected for compliance. is that they forget to put the marketing date in there. Or we don't know what it's gonna be right now. It can't be TBD. It has to be it has to be a date because that is the date that it also goes live in MLS.
So is that what you use? So I signed one of these with Carla today, and she's gonna let me, sell her home. And then I just need to know about, maybe I put this in the MLS.
So
So-
she's gonna be getting the property ready, but you're gonna go ahead and sign the listing agreement.
Uh-huh,
Property's not quite done.
right.
There's a painter coming in on
Right.
Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So photography will be done early in the week, blah, blah, blah. Marketing date can be put out
We're gonna go live on Thursday
on Thursday, right?
Okay.
of
Or
next week.
you could say, okay, you don't know what your time frame is. Why don't we put a marketing date of May 1?
Mhm.
And if you get ready before that, then we're
You can
gonna use
always
another
go-
form.
there's a
and
form.
change
There's a
that.
form for
There's a
that.
form for that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
What number?
I have
710.
no idea.
710.
I have no idea.
She just remembered
I
me
didn't
saying
even-
there's a home run.
No, 17 and 14.
Yeah, you got it, got it.
We had a 50-50 chance. No.
Yeah.
Not yet. So you can always backdate
Can always,
that.
we can always change.
And
Yes.
if you need more time, it can be pushed out.
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but the reason you want to go ahead and get that signed today is because now we have an effective listing agreement.
Right.
So Carla can't run into somebody at the grocery store or at church and they say, well, I didn't know you were selling your house. Let me sell your house for you. And now all of a sudden you're like, well, wait a minute, Carla, what happened to me? You know, so you've got a signed agreement
Mhm.
with, and so they can't list it with anybody else.
Gotcha.
So it secures the listing, just the dates we can,
Play around.
yeah, yes.
Okay.
There just has to be something.
A date.
Yes, there has to be a date in there, yes. Public marketing, this means that I'm gonna have a sign in the yard, it's gonna go in MLS, I'm gonna put it on my Facebook page, I'm gonna do a TikTok video about it, whatever you're gonna do. All of that is public marketing. So if any of those things are going to happen, the seller must initial by public marketing. And so I'm a cover for coming soon because sometimes there's confusion here as well. So we decided that we're going to do a coming soon so that we can create some energy and excitement around the property before we actually go live.
Right.
And this may also be, oh, they're coming in to landscape the yard next week or professionally clean it or something, you know, to buy a little bit more time. So coming soon becomes your marketing date
Okay.
because we can enter a status of coming soon into MLS. There is a coming soon status in MLS. Now, there's still no showings and your sign has to have a coming soon rider and any of all advertising have to say coming soon, going live on, that sort of thing. So your marketing date is is as soon as you're going to enter that into MLS as a coming soon. And so a week from now is actually when it's going to go active. So we would put the active date as 4/15.
And do you have to, like I see coming soon, and it might just have one picture, that's the front.
Yes, yeah,
MLS requires you to have at least.
you have to have one.
Oh,
And
okay.
it has to be the front. You can
Right.
put as many as you want to in there, but a lot of times it may be because they haven't done professional photography yet. So they may
Okay.
just do a cell phone exterior
Okay.
and
The
then,
example that you used about Carla's house,
Mhm.
gonna go live on the 15th. We're within the window that allows from the MLSs at this point. So you know that that's gonna be, you could put your sign up today with the coming soon, going live on the 15th.
Yeah.
Right,
and you could enter it into MLS.
right. And you can take your cell phone and take a front picture to
Yeah.
do that.
And then photos are gonna be done on Monday, and then now you've got them, and so then on Wednesday, when you go active, then the whole listing is updated from there. And that's also when showings begin. No showings during coming soon.
Uh-huh.
Also, there's other There's coming soon documents for both MLSs. So
Yes,
if you do have a coming soon, make sure you have that filled out, and Karen actually has to sign that as well.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, just send it to me through DocuSign and I'll sign.
Seller also has to sign it because there's things in there that
It
says
says,
you cannot show the property.
right,
So
yeah,
even they can't show it.
right,
Okay,
yes,
We're not supposed to.
come back.
yeah, yeah. Or, like we had some friends over and, I mean, which is fine, they can do that. But then if it's like, oh, our son might be interested in this, can he come back over tomorrow? Well, no, he can't. Well, you can, I mean, but then we gotta have a conversation about it. Then office exclusive. So office exclusive means it is not advertised anywhere. It can be advertised on our private Keller Williams Facebook page. And you can put a flyer up in the office. It just can't be advertised to the public.
Now, why would I wanna do that?
So sometimes people do it for privacy. Like they don't want, I don't know, let's just say,
I mean, it sounds kind of bad, like you just don't want your house out there. I mean, say it's like a divorce or something, and like you don't want it with like, wow, look, like she could, and,
right,
Oh,
yeah.
and I mean, we do have a larger firm. We like some that have like 2 agents.
And you may use that more with someone that's more of a celebrity type or something like
Yeah,
that
where
as
you
well.
won't
Yes.
just-
Yeah.
So if it's office exclusive, any broker in here can offer it to one of their clients.
Only
Yes.
with our firm.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so sometimes, because sometimes, affluent or
Mhm.
high priced properties, the seller may say, why don't you see if you or somebody in your office can sell it before I got, the general public
Right,
roaming
okay.
through my house.
If I had a duplex, I'd probably want to do it that way.
Mhm.
Just because I know that there's so many people that want a duplex.
Right.
Let's keep it in-house.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
yes, yeah,
Now, that would be, obviously, the seller's got to approve that, but yeah.
yes,
Alright.
yes. And then office exclusive might also be, so this is where we might use Form 710 again to change, because when we signed this initially, we were gonna do public marketing. But now their friends came over and their son wants to see the house and son wants to buy the house. Now we do Form 710 to change it to office exclusive.
Unless they have an agent that they're working.
If they have an agent that they're working with, then they have to wait until it goes live.
Correct. Any question, just find one of us.
Yeah, you're not gonna run across office exclusive very often, but there are situations.
We've probably seen more in the last, couple of years
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
than we've seen for a while.
Yeah, well, they used to call them pocket listings, but then they said, okay, well, no, we'll let anybody in your office do it, so. Again, as we're going through this with our seller, we are reminding our seller about to disable any and all audio devices whenever the property is being shown during inspections and any other time that the firm directs. So this doesn't happen. I mean, that's why we say you don't know if the nanny cam is, that's why we're like, just don't say anything while we're inside the property. Don't say anything. Don't stand on the front porch in front of the ring and talk about the property, those sorts of things. But again, we do remind our sellers that the audio version of that has to be turned off. The video can be on, but the audio would be turned off.
So Karen, I've been told that they can't turn it on. I don't know on some of these systems, but they said they can't turn off the audio without the video. I mean, you can shut down the whole system, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would
I've
think.
never seen it on mine. I pause mine for like if my husband's out doing, out doing
Just so it don't
the
record,
yard
yeah.
and it's not going
Off like
going on.
crazy,
So I
yeah,
pause
yeah.
it for like 4 hours, but I've never, been able to see if I could go in there and shut down the phone.
Just shut down the,
Yeah, I've never seen that option, but I don't know. I'll look at it.
Is that on a ring?
Rings
I
have
have-
the option.
Do they have the?
Yeah, I thought so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
just had a home inspection last month that when I got there at the end for him to recap, he was like, oh, wait, the camera they had hid in the kitchen on the refrigerator. Let me plug that back in now. That they had the camera set up to record everything that was being said. Cause like, where do you go and talk about it? Like with the buyer?
Yeah.
Good thing he's seen it, like.
Yeah.
Kind of sneaky.
I bet that's.
Yeah. I mean, what are they gonna
Doing
say?
touching my stuff.
Well,
Right.
we
It
says
says it
that
right
you
on
have
the top
to
of page
disable.
3, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, money, this is where we talk about money, fees and costs for the services. In bold, seller understands that the amount, format, or rate of real estate compensation is not fixed by law, but is set by each broker or firm individually and is fully negotiable. So, firm's fee, seller agrees to pay the firm as follows for the services. There may be more than one of these. We don't have anybody in our firm that does a non-refundable retainer. However, if it's part of your business practice, then you would check that box, put whatever that is. It is credited towards the firm's total compensation. Typically, the second one is what we see most of the time. X percentage of the gross sales price of the property. We would like 3 in this. A flat fee, occasionally there, you might have a situation where it might be a flat fee. Let's say that maybe you're working with a builder that is going to build 25 houses and he's gonna list all of them with you, but he's gonna say, let's just do a flat fee on each one. That's 25 pieces of business. Yes, we can.
So I had a $10,000 lot. And instead of doing a 10%,
Mhm.
I said $1,000 flat fee. Then it ultimately sold for 8. I still got the
Yeah,
1,000
yeah,
Right, okay,
instead of 800. I mean,
Yes.
and I know that's not a big difference, but that.
but it could be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Other fees. So this would be, there are some agents in their business model that they charge a transaction fee to the seller or to the buyer. And so this is where that amount would go here. So you would have 3% and then you would have $3.95 transaction fee to the firm. Now, that money comes directly to you, just so you know, but the attorney does write, some attorneys will lump it all into the commission check. Some attorneys will write a separate check. That $3.95 transaction fee, should you choose to, and I mean, people do different things. I've seen 75, I've seen 150, whatever the number is. That money is separated out when Josh processes your check. So it's not, the company dollar doesn't come out of that $3.95. All of that $3.95 goes directly to you.
I think somebody said they do 500, it's the little lady, Cindy, maybe. Is that her name, Cindy?
That was just-
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see
Somebody
that. I don't
said
know.
they did 500.
Mhm.
And it seemed like a lot, but, I mean, you gotta pay for the photography and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's gonna eat away at your commission.
And some people do, I've seen people do 75 because that's what Keller Williams charges you, a
Mhm.
$75 transaction fee. And so if you're passing that on to the buyer or the seller, then it's not,
Mhm.
you know, $75 you get to keep. In other words. And others will charge more because they either to cover their transaction coordinator or to cover their assistant, those sorts of things.
And everybody's got an opinion how that is to be.
Yes, yes,
How, what amount is, and
Mhm.
if I'm gonna charge my seller or my buyer that transaction.
yeah, and that's completely up to you. The firm does not influence your decision on that in any way, shape or form, whatever you want to do. Some people want to do it. Other people are like, nope, whatever. I will make a note though that, oh, I moved it up too much. That number cannot be less than 2% without authorization from me.
Okay.
So number one, why would we want to take it to, why are we negotiating our
Right.
compensation down that low anyway? In our policies and procedures, you as an agent, we allow you as an agent to negotiate your commission by 1%. Again, not that we are encouraging that, we don't want that to happen. Anything less than that, and that's where you get to say, I'm not authorized to go any lower than that. I'll have to check with my broker in charge, and then you're gonna come and ask me, and I'm gonna say no. And so that's where you get to blame me for all the, for all the stuff, for all the stuff that is like, this can be a hard conversation. It's like, oh no, my broker won't let me do it. Blame it on me. I'm like the wizard behind the curtain.
Oh,
Okay, cooperative compensation to other agents. Again, seller has no duty to offer compensation to an agent working with a buyer, which is cooperative compensation. We have provided the seller with the goods, the bad, the reasons you want to offer compensation. And so seller either does or does not agree to offer cooperative compensation. If they do agree, which one of these things are we going to check? We prefer that you check the firm is authorized to offer, just simply because it's negotiable, but the seller's less likely to negotiate it when we've already put it in our listing agreement. Or remember, you agreed to pay that buyer agent 3%. Now we can negotiate it, but so it's just a little, because if you say seller may offer, then they could be like, oh, no, I changed my mind, 0. Even though they put in there that they would.
So is this where you put like 6% and most people get 2?
No,
3?
no. Okay, so if we've got a full commission of 6%,
Mhm.
then we've got 3 to the firm, and we've got 3 to the buyer agent
Oh, okay.
or the sub-agent of the seller.
Okay.
Yes.
How often do you feel like more experienced agents are having to explain the benefits of this to sellers?
Do it all the time.
Yeah, every listing appointment.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna want to come show your house if they know they're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
So here's a visual I use.
Right.
You want to reduce your pool of buyers from this to
To
this, and we'll go with that option.
Yeah.
And trust me, it works.
Yeah.
They go, oh, no, we want buyers. Okay, then we need to
Then-
compensate that buyer agent.
Yes.
So the way
It's a really an easy conversation, but I'm having it almost every single time.
Mhm.
that's the way to approach this issue, to get them to say, hey, your house is being so much quicker.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I always tell them too, this is what's been customary in our area for years.
Yes.
Now, the amount's different. That's, it's the negotiable side. of it.
So I'm gonna harp on this.
No, you're good.
On the other side of that, so do you guys feel like that's a directly affects, like, for those that stay on the market longer, look at their percentages that they're offering buyer?
Well, we don't know anymore. That's the whole thing. So, compensation used to be advertised in MLS. So we knew, like, we pulled the MLS sheet up and it told you exactly what you were gonna get paid. And after the NAR settlement, all of that went away. So, this, now it means, Carla contacting the agent and saying, what are you, what's your firm or the seller offering for cooperative compensation? So she might know, but I don't know, and Mike doesn't know, and Tammy, nobody else knows, because it's not publicly
I
advertise.
sent one out this morning.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But it was such a good thing. I mean, did not think about me. I mean, I had a
It
buyer,
worked so well.
I had a buyer that 355, high she could go, found a house that she loved for 359. I was a little bit ahead. She's like, well, I mean, I really, I love this house. Like, let's go for it. Seller was paying 1.5% commission. And then I have to go back to her and be like, hey, like, I gotta get paid. Well, if I'm paying that much for the house, like, I can't pay you. So then, like, you're the bad person.
Yeah.
It's all about money, you know, so,
Mhm.
so it's just ridiculous, but
So-
you've got my vote on the settlement.
So how did you handle it?
We worked a little deal. She did get the house. She has 2 kids that are coming with her that are gonna buy. And so I will get those clients.
Okay.
Okay, so you prolonged your commission by.
Well, she got paid the 1.5 at closing. Yeah,
Well, I'm
Got
sorry.
paid half a commission.
yeah, yeah,
Half a
But you got
commission
more
on it.
commission.
yeah.
Yes, cause I explained to her, like, I can't, like, I can't do this, like,
Right.
what I'm used to making, and she got it, but by this time, she had sold her house in Virginia, was actually like living at an apartment, like with 2 kids, that they all just relocated down here, so, yeah. If I didn't like her, she wasn't a family friend, I'd have been like.
Very good.
So there is one firm that will, it's always the seller may offer.
Mhm.
So when you call them or text them, number one, if they miraculously happen to respond, then,
True that.
yeah, then they will say, it depends on your offer.
Yes, submit
Submit
your offer.
Form 220 with your offer.
So you submit your Form 220 asking for whatever
3%.
amount, and it's probably the amount that's in your buyer agency agreement.
It is, yes.
So it could be 2.5 or 3, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And then they will look at your offer in that compensation agreement and decide whether they want to do it or not. It stinks if you ask me,
It's, I don't like it later.
because
I think it's
honestly,
very-
I'd just do not show any of their properties for that reason, but.
I think it's slimy.
Like a plan.
So to answer your question, good point. B plus C equals D.
Okay.
So it says, a lot of agents don't fill this part in, but I'm like, if you take B and you add C to it, that's the total. And I think it also gives a visual to your seller as well, to say, this is the total amount
Yes.
that you will be paying out. Yes. This percentage is gonna go to my firm, this percentage is gonna go to the buyer's firm.
And all of that should reflect on your seller net sheet when you do a seller net sheet.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Questions on that?
I think if me and Carla said we want to start with the 6 and
Yeah.
then break it down to what would go next. These should be up here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and interestingly enough, that's the way that it used to be. So before our forms changed, it used to be the total compensation. And then, yeah,
It's like a few pages later though, too. It wasn't
Yeah.
like right on it.
yeah, yes,
It broke it down to who was getting what.
yeah.
Okay.
And so now it's very clear, this is what the firm is getting, this is what, and it even says, where does it say? The disclaimer that says it will not be taken from the firm's fee.
You
No,
saying it's not on here anymore? It used to be.
oh,
Oh.
I under C.
You have the correct form.
you have the correct form. What's up here is not correct.
Oh,
So,
January.
yes,
Okay, so we
It's
got
July.
July.
yes. Yes.
25.
So the one that you have
Okay.
is correct. So
Okay,
it's actually highlighted. It says this will not be deducted from the firm's fee.
Oh,
Got it.
yeah.
Yes.
got it, okay.
And even though D says optional,
Uh-huh,
with our compliance department, it is not optional.
not option.
Well, and again, I think
Keep
it,
that in mind.
I think it gives clarity as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And Karen, I have a question on the total cost for D. If the price changes from the original listing, that price could, that amount could change, right?
We hear that?
Okay, well, hey, at least I knew my form, even if I was like, wait, look at it.
Or ten like Karen, it's not.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, I'm on the wrong form. Yeah, everything else, is the same. That was just, a couple of the few things that, and we do not have, we would never check this box right here. Firm's fee schedule attached, we don't have one. So we would never check that box. And they actually made this worse or more confusing because now it says optional. It used to say firm's fee plus cooperative compensation, which made sense. B plus C equals D. I feel I would like for them to just put that in that section right there. I keep sending my suggestions to NCAR. You should put this in this form. You should put this in this form.
Probably Western.
Yeah, he's not on the forms committee anymore. I know, Rick Westover.
Oh.
I saw him at, when I did my book up, he was there. And, yeah, he's still Captain Kangaroo, but he is not on the, not on the forms. Let's see, none of that. And so then we have a lot of, there's gonna be a couple of boxes to check. Does or does not agree to purchase a home warranty. Just a reminder, if the seller does agree to purchase a home warranty, you would want to go ahead and send that application in because it covers the seller if anything should happen or if something comes back on an inspection, there's a coil bad in the HVAC, in the air conditioning unit, they would be covered under that home warranty. And then it transfers to the buyer at closing, but the seller doesn't pay for it until closing. So if the, so it gives them a little bit of, a little bit of, okay, I'm not doing any repairs. Well, why don't we offer a home warranty in that way if there's anything that comes up unsuspecting that, we've got that here.
Keep in mind, the seller coverages aren't quite as good as they are for a buyer.
Yeah.
However, they do have some coverages.
Mhm.
Okay,
And I know with America's Preferred, if you have the warranty, you're covered for additional,
You
know,
know,
the deductible.
deductible, yeah.
Or if they waive it, you're also covered if something should happen
Yes.
for a certain amount. So
Yeah. So I would make the home warranty a part of your listing presentation. So have the application, if they're like, no, we don't want to do it, okay, just sign here saying that you're waiving it.
Okay.
And that way you're having the conversation with them, you're offering it to them, and they are declining. Pre-marketing home inspection does or does not. We do not have a trust account and hold earnest monies. We do not agree to equally split any earnest monies forfeited by the buyer. That's not our money, it's the seller's money, so it goes to the seller. And then any due diligence fee will be paid to, typically it's going to be paid to the seller. The only other thing that you might want to, that might go in here would be if it's being paid to maybe two individuals, a divorce situation, and you've got maybe half going to, I mean, they're both still sellers, but it also or it may be the trustee of the trust is who any due diligence
Or
money.
if there's an estate, it could be to the estate fund.
Yes.
Which one did you say you usually for B?
Does not.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and then dual agency. This is another section that cannot be blank. The seller must authorize agency in one way or another. We want them to authorize, in the top section, we want them to authorize the firm to act as a dual agent in the transaction. That means that any other Keller Williams Central agent can show the property, bring a buyer, bring an offer, that sort of thing. If they say that the firm may not, then nobody in the firm.
Exactly the opposite of an opposite.
Yes, yes. If the firm may act as a dual agent, then initial only one line below. Seller does authorize the same agent to represent both seller and buyer in dual agency. Carla, this is where you said you ain't going there.
Right.
Not going there now. Seller does not authorize the same agent to represent both seller and buyer in dual agency.
Right.
I don't know why that line is there whatsoever. It makes no sense because, well, what happens? So the third one down, seller does not authorize the same agent to represent both a buyer and seller in dual agency and directs the firm to practice designated
I
dual
don't know why there's
agency.
not just those two.
I agree.
First and the
I've already, I put my word in.
third.
We'll see. It'll be on July when the forms come out. It'll be like opening a birthday present. See how many of my suggestions they took me up on. Does that make sense?
Yes. For right now. It makes sense. It's,
It makes sense if you try to explain. it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Or until
Then
you
I
get
have to
into the
draw
moment, you're
pictures.
like, wait,
oh
what?
God, what am I saying?
Right.
Duh.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
just from a conversational standpoint, when you're explaining it,
Okay.
this is how I explain it. So we want to authorize my firm to act as a dual agent because that means that the other 146 agents in my office can bring a buyer
Mhm.
to your property and you're getting maximum exposure.
Yeah.
Okay. I do not do same agent, dual agency. I represent you exclusively through the transaction at all times. And so what this says is that should there be an agent in our office that does bring a buyer, I am still going to represent you exclusively and only you. And that agent is going to represent the buyer and only the buyer. And we do not trade confidential information. Right. Unless it's a material fact. Yeah. Material facts are not confidential.
It practice that speech.
This part is easy for me because I've already explained it during the WWRAA. And I've already told them that I
I
don't
was
work
gonna ask
both.
that question and it left my brain. I was like, so when you present that
Yeah.
after first substantial contact, it kind of will get it in there.
Yeah,
You-
exactly.
It makes it so much easier when
So
you
when
get
you
to
get
this,
there.
what full
Okay.
page of dual agency information, to say we've already discussed this and this is what we talked about then. I just need you to initial there. And I'm seriously, that's about the extent of the conversation. Now, they may have additional questions at that point, and that's okay. Go ahead and address those questions. But if I've done my job in explaining the working with real estate agent document well enough, this is something.
Okay, I think I got just confused myself. Everything you said was right. So in the second part where you had the two knots, seller does not authorize the same agent to represent both seller and buyer in dual agency.
That's
Yeah.
the first line.
Well,
So
Okay.
that was marked
Have
out.
not
Okay.
been struck.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So seller does
Does.
authorize, yes.
Oh.
So that would be your same agent, dual agency, that as a provisional broker, you can't do it anyway, but you don't want to do it, and Carla said.
Right. We did.
Myself.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So, firm to act as a dual and then designated dual, so that you are representing your client at all times through the transaction.
Just remember, bottom line, bottom. No.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
And matter of fact, just because you said that, I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Have one on the top.
Yeah,
And the new form is so sweet.
I know, it'll probably move it around.
Don't call me out on that. It's full thing they come in.
Under section 12, these are just a lot of boxes that, to check. Disclosures from the seller.
And a lot of these are gonna be questions you're gonna have to physically ask
Yeah.
eventually the seller. You know, are you working with a relocation company? By the way, some sellers think that a moving company is their relocation company. It's not.
That's why they would think that.
Can do. They're gonna relocate them, right?
Right.
But I had a seller argue with me, no, we were using such and such movers.
2 men in the truck.
Great, I'll check out that you're working relocation, but I understand you're not. I've worked with relocation, I know what that's like.
What does B mean? Like where would they get sample copies?
They're in your DocuSign. Sample copies are in your DocuSign. There's sample copies of the offer to purchase and then also the, professional services.
So we should give them those.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you always want to check the box has
Okay.
on that one. And as you're going through it, yes, you have, here you go, here they are,
Mhm.
you know, or they're in your packet that I'm gonna leave with you, that sort of thing.
I'd say put it up that way, Pat, come on now. You would draw so much attention. You got, you had the frame upside down, it was, been in it down, been upside down.
That'll work.
Oh, man, you know.
His spelling errors. That's what draws it in.
Yeah,
Have a typo on that email.
yeah,
Or like Daniel, program the email to where you have the buyer's last name. Yeah. He did that.
Why does it matter if the seller has or has not owned property?
it's just a disclosure.
Oh.
Yes, it's a disclosure, because, there are tax implications if they have not owned the property. If it's an individual, there are tax implications, and it just needs to, the attorney really needs to know it. And the reason that we ask it on here is because it's on the offer to purchase. It's a disclosure on the offer to purchase. The attorney's gonna get the offer to purchase. Attorney's not gonna get this, but it's a disclosure that will be on the offer to purchase as well.
And there's actually a checkbox in MLS.
Yes, yes. Just a reminder, if there is a mobile home, to identify the mobile home from its FHA tag that is on the, depends. Sometimes it might be on a piece of paper inside the kitchen cabinet. I've seen them in the master bedroom closet. Sometimes it's attached to the tongue underneath. It's great when they're inside.
And 100% of the time they're on the frame. So if you can't find it anywhere else, get some coveralls. No, I'm just kidding.
Typically,
Hey,
yeah, but
somebody-
typically it's right inside of, typically it's right inside of the crawl space door, so, well, okay, no,
My
no,
husband like-
no, yeah, no. Pamela,
Go and look
Let
at
let me show you how I do it. Okay. I open the crawl space door. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Click.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna-
Yeah. Yeah, no, I ain't going in there. any restrictive covenants, restrictions, any pending disputes, violations, or litigation that would affect the property in a flood zone, not in a flood zone. If it has EFS is, we don't see much of it anymore. Most of it's been remediated, I think, but it's fake stucco, essentially is what it is. And moisture, because of it was porous, and so moisture would get behind it and cause, yes, I mean, like,
Stony Creek Properties,
yeah,
they were one of the first in this
Yeah.
area that I know.
yeah. Water damage, fungal growth, all of that kind of stuff. So you just want to ask if it's like, oh, this stucco, oh, is this synthetic stucco?
So they got
Or-
one called hard coat.
Yes,
That's the,
Yes.
that's the.
that's what they fixed it with when they were like, oh, let's put this plastic foam on houses. That'll be a good idea. And then when everybody's house was rotting down, it's like, oh, maybe we should get something a little more cementous to put on there.
I think that looks so good. You know, I found out.
For pretty,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
pretty expensive.
Yes. yes. Do they have a mortgage on the property? Again, just going through, I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory. If there is an off-site septic lot, sometimes we may run into those. We don't have boat slips, unfortunately. Most of but what you're gonna run into with this is an off-site or separate septic lot. If it's a house in the county, sometimes there may be an off-site septic. Just want to identify that. Again, we talk about surveillance, photography and video, other professional advice. We are real estate agents and that's all that we're gonna advise you on. We may send you to an attorney, we may send you to an accountant, we might send you to a pest inspector, a home inspector, an HVAC contractor, all of that. But that is not our lane of expertise, and we're not responsible for the people we send you to. If you're not happy with them, not my fault.
If you recommend, like if I recommend that Pam gets an inspection on her house,
Mhm.
Pam will have to pay for that, or does it
Oh,
come out
yeah.
at the closing or something?
So the way that home inspectors do it now is that you have to put it on a credit card.
Okay.
Yeah. So in other words, the inspector will come out and do the inspection.
Mhm.
But before he releases the report, you have to go in and pay with a credit card.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The ones that we dealt with recently, they want payment before they even go.
Yeah.
Or you've got to let them know, like, we just had an inspection this week. Carrie took a check with her for the inspection.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there needs to be, that arrangement needs to be made, but every one of your home inspection companies now are having the buyer sign a contract. So they know what the costs are.
Yeah.
And then they give them the opportunity to pay it right there online in most cases.
Yes, yeah. Back in the day,
Yeah.
they used to let it be paid for at closing, but then when closing didn't happen, then they
And
weren't
they're
getting.
looking for their money.
Yeah, they're looking
Guess-
for their
and guess
money.
who the home inspector came out? The
Yeah.
agent,
Yeah.
not the buyer.
Oh, yeah, the agent.
We're the one that called it in.
Right.
Yeah.
They come after us.
So this is just a reminder based on, Carla, what you were saying, seller inspection cost. If the seller orders or directs the firm to order inspections or other professional services as part of selling the property, seller, not the firm, must pay for all inspection costs and other professional services unless otherwise agreed upon. Buyer incurred inspection costs are not addressed in this section and may be negotiated later as part of the purchase contract. So let's say that, that you're like, you probably, it'd probably be a good idea to pressure wash the house.
Mhm.
And they were like, yeah, let's pressure wash the house. Do you know anybody? Sure, I know a guy, he's great. I'll call him and see when he can come out. I'll let you know before he comes out, how much he charges. You call him back, he's gonna charge $300. Okay, yeah, that's good. They say, get him on out here. Well, that's not your $300.
Right.
And that's what that is saying. That's a protection clause for us as agents,
Right.
that just because we assisted you with getting this service done, it's not our
Right.
cost. And you know why they put it in there.
Because
there
I
were
think
step-
they think that comes
Yeah.
out of that
Because
3% and 6%.
6% were like, well, I didn't order that. You
Uh-huh.
ordered that.
They're the
You
ones that
could've
said I
paid-
needed to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Any rule is made for people that break them.
Yeah.
so, and at this point, you would also want to use your professional services disclosure and put that vendor in there,
Yes, absolutely.
as well as your home warranty or your home inspector if they have hired those services as part of this.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. We don't have to have it typically, but if the seller has work done after, like from inspections or whatever, then you'd want to have that professional services disclosure signed off so that everybody is aware that who ordered it, who paid for it, and who's responsible and what.
Yeah. Okay, and then signature page. If it's an individual, then they sign up here. Or if it's two individuals, it might be husband, wife, or partner, whatever, they sign up here. If it's an entity, they sign here. So if it is, like my example on this to start off with, the entity seller would be SM Ward Construction, Inc. And then it would be by Scott Ward, president, and then Scott signs his name as a human. So human always has to sign on behalf of. You have to be careful with this in DocuSign because you have to override it. Because if I put in who the seller is, DocuSign now wants it auto-populates, yes. And it's gonna want him to sign as SM Ward Construction, Inc., not as Scott Ward. So you just have to override that.
So we get these, this is one thing I'm a little confused about. So DocuSign, I can pull up one of these forms and complete it in DocuSign?
Yeah.
I've been playing around with that.
Okay,
And I would
Fake one for
suggest
my
that,
cousin. I was like,
go
"Doc,
in,
it's on this."
list your house,
okay.
Yeah.
send it to your other email address.
Okay,
That way you know what the consumer is getting on the other
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Go ahead and sign it. Just
Yep.
don't submit it. as-
Great, yeah,
as a
yeah.
transaction.
I mean,
I was wondering,
can,
when I was
but-
playing in and I was like, I wonder if Karen's gonna get this, cause I sent one to my cousin, just a little fake. information.
if you want to submit it to compliance, I'm happy to look over it. Joe Winstead did that. He was like, he said, like, I want to know. And so I said, well, submit it. And
I'm a hands-on, I need to put my hands
Yeah,
on it, I'm gonna go all the way through.
I'll be happy to review it because in compliance, what happens is that if there's something that's missing or something that's not in there, you get a note back
oh, okay.
from it.
Okay.
So in other words, if I say, if it's like, forgot to put the marketing date in, you'll get a note back
Okay.
that says insert marketing date,
Okay.
that sort of thing. So it also is a learning process for you that, okay, I missed this. And then you're more cognizant of it.
My question was, and this may seem really simple, but let's say you have an older person who's not really versed with doing DocuSign. on the
Everything's
phone.
wet
Are they-
signature?
Yeah, so I do this, then I scan
You
it
scan
in.
it in. Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Because I can almost hear that conversation, or you know how older people are like, I'm not comfortable putting my stuff and I don't want to sign that on the
Yes.
computer. That sounded like my
Yes,
grandmother would have been
yeah.
like, I'm not
They
signing
may
it.
not even
My
have an
signature.
email.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mama doesn't.
So, I mean.
So you
seriously,
just
so-
scan it in,
Yeah.
save it as a PDF in
Okay.
in your folder. You can save it as a PDF in your DocuSign room.
Mhm.
And then sync it with
Yeah.
the opportunity.
Yeah, I thought it would be nice to, even though you have some people that are cool with it, can I send you this email? But if you had a couple of these or whatever, with you when you're
Absolutely.
going, just always have a paper copy.
Always have the documentation ready for them to
Never know,
sign.
they're gonna say, well, where do I sign?
Yeah.
You just don't know.
And so
Right.
you can print these from
Like,
DocuSign?
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Cause when I got one off the NCREC, I think it had sample on it.
Yeah, so
It does,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. But in DocuSign, so
I think you have to put minimal information. I think you have to have
You
the
have to-
the names. I think
Yeah, you have to like
I-
create an opportunity or something. You have to go that way, or is it a
No.
different way?
the trick.
Okay.
So go into DocuSign, create a room, and call that room listing paperwork.
Okay.
And then you
Every
can,
time
and
we
then
do it.
you can put those, then you click on add form,
Mhm.
go to your NCAR and add listing agreement, all of the things in there. And so now you've got that template
Mhm.
of that folder.
Right.
You just have to make sure when July 1 comes
You do it
around,
again.
you delete that folder and then create a new
Yeah.
one. And you can do the same thing on the buyer side. And that way you can go in and you can print off because that's what, that's how I print these.
Okay.
Is like I have a folder that's called training forms.
Mhm.
And so I just, I load them in there and then I can print.
Just print them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And so, and I know we ran over and I apologize. Firm name, this is where we were talking about. So this would be Ward Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Central, and then both license numbers.
Okay.
So it would be my firm's license number and it would be Keller Williams license number by me. And then this is my individual license number.
Got it. All right.
So we had a question come up yesterday about fees that you put out and then someone terminates a listing early. I mean, they want to know how you would collect those fees. And what I said was you could go into additional terms here on the back page and put in there, if for any reason the seller terminates this listing, there will be reimbursement of X
X
dollars.
amount of dollars.
Right.
With
Yes.
your photography and stuff.
Yeah.
Or
Correct.
whatever money
Yes.
you may have spent.
Yes.
Or, yeah, makes sense.
Thanks for being here, Sherry.
Thank you, Karen.
Look like she tried.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it.